Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified Doctor of Naturopathy, Dr. Stephen Cabral, shares with you exactly how you can reverse aging, take back your health, and live a life full of energy and passion, with new 20-minute episodes every single day to keep you healthy and engaged. Now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
All right, everybody, diving right back into our second host call of the weekend. Hopefully you've been a part of the global health community for quite some time now, maybe a couple years listening to the show. Each and every weekend, we try to answer as many of our community's questions as possible. This is something that I love doing, well, since I first started in practice, honestly. Like, I would just take people's questions, as many questions as I could, even before I had a podcast. And then when I was given the ability to be able to have a podcast and try to reach more people, it was always an intent of mine that I would never be able to work with everybody maybe who wanted to be a part of the practice, but I could at least try to answer as many questions as possible. So we answer every single question that comes into the practice at Ask Cabral, unfiltered, but I want to let you know it takes about 10 to 12 weeks. So if you want your question answered same day, and who wouldn't, right? You can just write in at cabralsupportgroup.com. We'll get it answered for you pretty much same day, Monday through Friday. The amazing Michelle Blake does so many answers, Q&As there, and also Daniel Turk and many of the other health coaches too. So we're lucky to have them. All right, let's dive into today's show. First question, actually just opening up the document. So all questions I see are unfiltered, unedited. I have no idea what they are. And it's basically like, stump Dr. Cabral. That's basically what it is. All right, let's figure it out though. First one is from Kim. Kim says, longtime client of your IHPs. I've done a ton of work and made overall improvements in my health. However, I work with a functional medicine doctor to manage my hashimotos. I was diagnosed at age 14. Currently, I'm 48. I've been on thyroid support protocol. What are your thoughts on adding T2? I'm currently on a combination of 137 Tirosent, and 5 micrograms of cytomel. I'm a non-converter of T4 to T3, high reverse T3 always, did stress protocols, etc., work on sleeping, which helps. Ironically, my doctor has never heard of supplementing with T2. Okay, so there are a lot of people. So Kim, thank you for writing in. Appreciate you. I get it. I want to help. So I have an A through Z course on thyroid. You don't need to take it. All the podcasts are free. You can still listen to the whole category of thyroid podcasts at stephencabral.com/podcast. Scroll through all the images. You'll find them right there. Like, they're completely free. But if you want to go in depth and you want to learn how to heal the thyroid, A to Z, it's all there at stephencabral.com/courses. So just check it out if you choose to. Now, I still want to answer your question. So let's do that. Many doctors, T2 is a gray area. I just want to put it that way. Really, when we're really talking about the HPT axis, the hypothalamus pituitary thyroid axis, and if you've been a part of the IHP, you know about the HPA axis, you know about the HPG axis, and you know about the HPT axis, adrenals, gonads, thyroid. Okay, so let's talk about this for a moment. When we're really talking about the thyroid, we're talking about the hypothalamus inside the brain, connecting and chatting with the pituitary gland chatting with the thyroid then, a hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone is created, which isn't thyroid itself, but it's saying, okay, let's create some thyroid. T4 is created, then T3 is created, and you hope it doesn't convert a lot to reverse T3. Okay, so when you have reverse T3, we're looking at a lot of inflammation in the body. Now you have Hashimoto's. Okay, so the question then becomes, we really don't even want to manage Hashimoto's, we want to recover from Hashimoto's. Just like when I had an autoimmune disease, I didn't want to manage the autoimmune disease, I wanted to overcome the autoimmune disease. I understand, easier said than done, I totally get it. It's not an overnight thing. But we want to look at food sensitivities, we want to heal the gut, we want to work on stress, we want to work on viral-based issues, we want to work on heavy metals, all that good stuff. And I'm sure that you're working on it, and I love it, and I appreciate you putting in the work. All right, now what's all this talk about T2? Nobody really talked about T2 before the last few years, but T2 is essentially diiodo L-thyrionine. And some natural health professionals and some functional medicine doctors, they like to use that. I've never used it as part of my practice. I don't feel like we've ever had to use it. And I don't necessarily believe that I get more benefit by adding that on top of the things that would help to convert. Because remember, what I'm looking to do as a natural health practitioner is first give your thyroid in your body everything that it needs to make thyroid hormone on its own, and to be able to convert enzymatically from T4 to T3. And T3 is the active form of thyroid. So that's how we work in our practice. That's what I teach in my course. That's what I teach the IHPs, especially the level 2s. So I have no problem with people trying, let's just call it T2 for lack of a better term, or easier to say than diiodo thyronine. And so, yeah, that's that. I have no problem with it. Just, I never use it in my practice. I've never seen it be the thing to move the needle. And I'm always looking for the underlying root cause. So hopefully that was helpful. I know it's not exactly what you're looking for, but really, that's what we do. And I just want to always tell you exactly what we do. All right, Anonymous is up next. Let's see what Anonymous has to say. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I have a question regarding calcium carbonate. I heard in podcast number 1177 of the Cabral concept that you do not recommend this form of calcium, yet I noticed that it's in the Alkalizing Vitamin C powder. Can you please elaborate on whether it's safe to take it in this supplement or not? Thanks. Okay, yeah, again, appreciate you writing in. And always happy to take these questions. Like, I don't ever feel that, like, when some people get a question like this, like, it's like, how dare you ask that? No, it's like, these are genuine questions. These are really good questions, because it looks like there's hypocrisy, right? And I've done almost 3,000 podcasts. So you can listen to this, be like, oh, on episode 1177, you said this, but what about this? Ask me. No, I'm honestly always happy to answer these questions. Okay. So you never use calcium carbonate as the form of calcium at the mass dosages that medical doctors give mainly to women during menopause or postmenopause. Why? It's not highly absorbable. You want to use a calcium, lactate of calcium, citrate, different forms of calcium that are much better absorbed. Okay, so now why then, and that's what ours, if you look at CalMag Complete, so CalMag Complete is what we recommend for most women, menopausal, postmenopausal, and you can add extra magnesium if you want to it. But CalMag Complete contains calcium and magnesium and a little bit of phosphorus, which comes from the calcium triphosphate. Okay, so get back to your question. Why do I have it in the Alkalizing Vitamin C? And that is because carbonate or bicarbonate is the buffer that allows for there to be not only no acidity, but actually alkaline. So those people with the high stomach acid, with the acid reflux, whatever it is, they can now use vitamin C and not get the heartburn or not get the I don't want to say ulcer-based pain, but because I want to now give you my disclaimer, not provide any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, medical diagnosis, just trying to help you find the underlying root cause to the issues. Okay, so here's what we do. Calcium carbonate is very alkaline. It's a buffer. We're not using that to absorb calcium, right? I've said that from the beginning. You don't want to use calcium carbonate to get your calcium. Okay, so we use calcium carbonate, and inside of that as well, though, you're going to find magnesium and potassium. So you're going to find those specific natural salts that will help buffer acidity, and the magnesium is there to buffer the calcium as well, but we don't use those to be absorbed. We use them to buffer acidity. I hope that's helpful. So the goal of alkalizing vitamin C is not to get your calcium. The goal of alkalizing vitamin C is to be able to get higher dosages of vitamin C on a daily basis. And it's delicious. So there you go. And again, if you've never heard about our thyroid protocol, daily thyroid support, or our alkalizing vitamin C, everything I refer to, you can find at stephencabral.com/shop. And that's just sends you over to EcoLife, which is our global functional medicine integrative health practice. Okay. Kristen's up next. Kristen says, hi, thank you for all your education. I know there's a lot of information out there. I appreciate how your natural health recommendations are backed by evidence for their safety and effectiveness. I'm hearing about ingesting borax in small dosages mixed with water as a method of rebalancing toxicities, including boron mineral deficiency, supporting with candida bacterial overgrowth, and heavy metal detoxing, amongst others. My understanding is it also acts as a biofilm disruptor. Are you familiar with this practice, and what are your thoughts about the safety and effectiveness of this practice? Is there anything for borax in a rebalancing protocol? Thank you. Or is there any place for borax? Okay, so yes, again, I want to share with you. So I have an obsessive mind and obsessive personality. And that is why I'm a little insane with my research and reading because I have to channel that into something positive. I've always been like that. When I was a kid, I would be like addicted to video games or addicted to like whatever it is. And so I've always known that about myself. And so then when I was a little older in high school or so, I channeled it into trying to do well in school and play sports. Like that was what I channeled it to. And then after when I was in college, I liked school. I did well in school. But I didn't love it. Like once I got to college, I was like, I'm done. Like I'm really done. And so while I was getting my education in undergrad, I was actually studying nutrition and studying personal training and strength and conditioning. And so on top of my schoolwork, I did what I loved. And that's where I channeled my energy. And then of course, when I graduated, then I loved being out of school because then sky was the limit. I could spend as much time as I want on what I wanted, and that was that. Anyway, why do I share that? Because I've looked into all of these things, and I think that they are actually, there's a time and place for all of them. Now, I can't recommend borax. I just can't, but that doesn't mean you can't use it, right? I don't want to give all the things for people to look into because some of them could be dangerous. But borax is it 3 Mules or is it 5 Mules, the company? Anyway, we use a lot of borax in our house. We use it as a cleaner. We use it if there's an insect infestation. We use it if there's like fungus growing outside in our gardens or plants. And it can be really powerful. It can kill parasites. It can kill yeast overgrowth. And yes, inside of you as well. So do some people use it internally? They do. Would I ever recommend it in any of my protocols? No. And the reason is that I have to put safety first. And I also have protocols that are very effective. Like for biofilm disruptors, well, in our CBO protocol, we use fluorofilm. And we use something called biofilm disruptor. They're both great biofilm disruptors. We like fluorofilm the most. That's in month 2. It's a little stronger. I could go on and on about this. I have no problem with people using it. I wouldn't make it the only thing you use, but certainly, there's a time and place. And if people want to use it, they want to use it, and that's up to them. As a sovereign individual, you get to choose. All right. But I appreciate you writing in. Inga is up next. Thank you, Dr. Cabral, for all your help and knowledge. I listen to your podcast all the time, so I've been having a more high rapid heart rate when I drink alcohol. It started a year ago and what happened when I had a stronger drink or later in the night. Now it's happening every time I have a drink, no matter the time or percent of alcohol. I usually have a drink or two on the weekends. I have currently stopped drinking. I'm fairly healthy. I work out 5 days a week, eat lots of veggies and good protein. I try not to eat a lot of sugar. I have a cup of coffee a day. Both of my grandmothers had pacemakers, so the rapid heart rate scares me. Any thoughts you have on this would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your knowledge and kindness. Thank you, Inga. I appreciate you. So yeah, there's a bunch of things I would look into. So if you only ran 2 labs, I'd run the starter kit. So it's one package, but it runs your vitamins and mineral levels. Very possible you are low on methylated B vitamins, and you may need more B6, methylfolate, methylcobalamin. Very, very possible in your genetics, it does not allow for that methylation. So the other part could be that you might be low on magnesium. And when you take in some of these things, being able to process the alcohol may not be the best at it. You also might have more of a histamine-based intolerance. And so when you drink a stronger drink, just as you said, more concentrated, or a glass of wine, that could kick up a higher histamine-based reaction. So in an ideal world, you run the big 5, but if you can't run the whole big 5, you run the starter kit. And the starter kit's going to give you the information you need to begin to rebalance those minerals, to look at your methylated Bs, and maybe even see if there's a little bit of candida overgrowth in there as well. That's where I would start. Having the information I have right now, that's absolutely where I would start. If my mother wrote the same question to me, I'd give my mom the same exact advice. Same with, my wife. Same with my daughter had the same thing, although she's, they're only 9 and 11, but you know what I'm saying. I'd give them the same exact advice. All right. So it looks like we just have a couple minor tweaks that we need to make, and I think you'll be doing a lot better. All right. Let's get one more question in, and it's from Scott. Scott says, hello, Dr. Cabral. I had a question about bladder rack. I first heard about it on the Survivor Man show when he was surviving in Alaska. It was said that it had many nutrients and protein in it. I was wondering if you had any knowledge of it or experience in any of the internships you were in. I see that there were some supplements online. I tend to be a Google skeptic when reading about these supplements, the good and their side effects. Could too much bladderwrack overload you with heavy metals since it comes from the sea? I trust your knowledge and experience above all. Thanks for all you do, Bowen. Scott, appreciate you and appreciate the trust as well. I do my best. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I work really hard every day to just try to be better for our community. So I appreciate the trust. But again, I'm, by no means perfect, but I do my very, very best for our community. So bladderwrack is an amazing detoxifier for the body. But can it contain metals? Yeah, but unfortunately that's because the oceans are polluted and the soil, is loaded with sometimes metals as well. But you can find a good brand. There's no doubt about it. You can find a good brand that carries bladderwrack, and it can be a good product. It is not a long-term product in my opinion. So it's not a product you'd be using all the time. It's typically used as part of a detox protocol. So it's often used in teas or capsules for maybe 6 weeks to 12 weeks as part of a general detoxification. It is high in minerals, but you would never use it as this is a super high mineral and protein-based food. Yeah, per weight, broccoli is also very high in protein as well, but you'd have to eat a ton of broccoli. You need to eat 20 pounds, right? So we don't really use it as a protein, good nutrients, yes, just like peat moss, loaded with nutrients, right? But that's not where we're going to get all of our nutrients from. So good product, use it typically for detoxification, can be good for the kidneys, good for the liver. I'm not against it at all. People are welcome to try it. However, I don't really see a need just for bladderwrack. Typically, it would be part of a product that would also contain that herb, because I'm just not going to go all in with that product. Why would I do that when I can use maybe a synergist of 6 different herbs that could then also help with that detoxification? So hopefully that was helpful. Again, I like to try to save people money as well. Use a product that's going to do exactly what it says it's going to do. The one that we use on a daily basis, for that 12 weeks or so, would be something called Daily Detox Support. That contains a lot of the Ayurvedic herbs, the TCM herbs, along with the functional medicine phase 2 nutrients such as the taurine, the selenium, the glycine, etc. So Scott, thank you for writing in. Appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow with our Mindset and Motivation Monday show, the best way to start the week. Take care, everybody. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my health results accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.